People, hello, welcome. My name is Navis, and today I'm going to teach you how to use Bandicam. So let's get started. First of all, why the heck should you use Bandicam? You have PlayCall, you have Dextry, you have Fraps, you have Shadowplay, you have AMD Evolved app. There are tons of apps, we can bet on that. However, Bandicam beats them all. Why? I don't know, tell me. With all seriousness, why? First of all, let's open it, of course. Right now I'm recording, so you see the things you're saying. However, to start with, let's say the basic principles. Bandicam is great. Okay, it may not be the greatest, but it is one of the greatest. You can bet on that. Even if it's not licensed, you still have 10 minutes of recording, which is quite a lot. It is true. Afterburner offers you recording as well. It's for free. But you don't have the option of recording a rectangle on screen. So there's one plus over there. And to continue, let's just go through all the general tabs and explain to you what the things do, what should you use and why, of course. First of all, to start on the top, you have this and this. Basically the first one is for recording your games, DirectX OpenGL windows. The other one is for recording your desktop, or for example playing on the internet and you want to record it. Since I'm recording my desktop, obviously I've chosen this one, otherwise you choose this one. And then when you click on it, you have the option of selecting the screen you want to record. Now since I'm recording the full screen, you obviously don't see it, but if you want to record a smaller one, you'll see like a blue or grayish, blackish rectangle that you can move, increase the size, increase the transparency, and the area that's chosen will be recorded. Then you have this little lovely folder. When you click on it, opens your folder with the videos you have installed. I mean, recorded. My apologies. I've chosen this one, but it can be really anyone you want. Then you have this, which basically captures the image. The same thing you can do with your key print screen. Then you have this lovely key that you don't really need since you're going to use it on your hotkey. We'll come to that later, and same goes for this. If you go to general, you have this. First of all, output folder. As I said, you select the folder where you want to put your videos after you recorded them in. That's really optional. Bandicam windows always on top. That's really personal preference. It does as it says, it puts your Bandicam window always on top. Start Bandicam, minimize the tray. Again, it's obvious. When you start a Bandicam, it will be minimized and you'll have it over here. Otherwise, it will pop up like this. Start Bandicam on Windows Startup. Again, obvious. When you plug in, my apologies, when you turn on your computer, you install the Bandicam, and that's it. The Bandicam will be started without you having the need of launching it. Advanced. Basically, half of these options are the same, with few exceptions, such as start full screen recording on Bandicam Startup. We'll come to that later, but basically it does as it says, it records in full screen. Show FPS or frames per second in captured video image only DirectX OpenGL window target. Basically when you record your games you want to show your frame rate, as you can see on my previous videos where I do basically benchmarks. You can see like little red numbers in upper right corner, which basically represents my current frames. If you want that to be seen, you enable this. If you want that to be seen only to you, disable. Show deep information bar. It says show deep information bar. It does show deep information bar. Nothing really special here. Output. Create an output subfolder when writing a file. Basically select a folder where you want to put your files in and then create another folder inside that folder. It does as it says. Enable writing caching on the disk. Basically enables writing caching on the disk because before enabling that used to be faster, but since Windows 8 came and the updates for Windows 7, that's not really necessary anymore. Although you can experiment if you want. Hooking. OpenGL, DirectX 7, DirectX 9, 11. Basically different DirectX. Basically, sorry for saying basically so much, but basically the games that render in that DirectX will be recognized by Bandicam, so you'll be able to record them. Disable Again, you disable the recognition, as it says, for example, on Internet Explorer 9, God forbid using that internet browser, my apologies, or Firefox, for example. Block DirectX video overlay, again, it does as it says, it blocks the overlay. Language, you have different languages to choose from. If yours is not on, feel free to translate it. How to do that? Well, you open up your folder where Bandicam is installed, then you go to lang, open the English one, and then simply translate this part to your language, send it to Bandicam team, and voila, you just contributed to the development. Others, video record settings, video format settings, autocomplete recording, we'll come to that later. We missed this one, blocked process list, basically blocks programs you don't want to be recording or even recognizing in case there's some problems, interference with recognition, vice versa. Okay, let's continue. Then you have auto start recording. I think I already said that one, so I'll just skip it. Auto complete recording. I can't click on it because I'm recording, but when you're not, basically click on it and you have different options. One being to set the time, like for example I set the limit to 5 minutes, and it means from the start of recording to the end it will last 5 minutes. Basically I limit the video duration by time or by size, like when it hits 2 GB it will stop recording. Then let's go to the next step, video. Here you choose the record stop hotkey. I'm using home. Basically when I press home the video will stop. When I press home again the video will start. Pause hotkey, I choose end. When you press end you'll pause the video. For example, I don't know, you screw something up, then you press that key again and it will unpause. Basically the same properties as like if you're watching a video and you pause it and then you play it again. Show mouse cursor, I didn't have that enabled. Actually I don't have it enabled, so you probably don't see shit right now where I'm putting my mouse, and it wasn't really necessary yet as of now, and I don't think it will be necessary, so basically shows the cursor or not. Add mouse click effects, as it says, you hear a sound when you click with the mouse. Settings, sound, record sound. Of course you want to have your sound recorded, so enable this. Save audio tracks while recording. Basically when you record a video, an audio track will be created separately for that video. Primary sound device, it's the basically sound in your computer that you hear. In my example, Windows 7 sound, of course. You can of course click on settings, which will open this marvelous tab where you can edit that if you have problems. Secondary sound device, 99% sure that's microphone in all cases. Choose your microphone and just click Windows 7 sound. Again, you can click on settings. To mixing, sound mixing, primary plus secondary into one audio track. Basically when you create a commentary and you have in-game sound and microphone, you can create in one audio track. I don't prefer that, since if you want to edit it and like increase your volume, decrease the in-game sound, you won't be able to do that if you click this. Only record secondary device while pushing. Basically only record your voice when you want to. That's pretty much it. Logo. Add logo to the video. Since I'm using for example Sony Vegas Pro 13, I don't need that since I can already, I can do that in Vegas, so post render process. But if you don't want to do that, just click add logo to video, find an image, preferably PNG so it's translucent, click the opacity. Personally 33% is fine for me. Choose a position and you'll have a watermark on your video. Effects. Mouse effects, as I said from before, you can change the color with left clicks, change the color with right clicks, highlight colors so it's easier to be seen. Options. Well, here you can choose priority of your recording. Best to leave that on high, since it's like optional. I was messing around and there's no real difference if I'm completely honest. Unless you have like a slower, weaker PC, then maybe put it normal. Otherwise, just leave it to high. For DirectX, OpenGL window, skip recording frame is not updated. Basically, when you record a game and like the game is loading, you won't be recording that, but it will record a moment after it stops loading. So it's quite a neat feature. If you continue, down here, settings. Now here is the marvelous Bandicam. Size. If you record, let's say I play games at full HD of course, but I want to record them at HD. What do? Simply select HD size, click OK, voila! I'm recording at HD but playing at full HD, so the final output is HD. Fantastic. But Navis, wait, I want to create a custom size. No problem. Click here, custom. Put the letters in yourself. Fabulous. Alright, Navis, but I want to create a custom frames. No problem. Here we go. Just for a reminder, YouTube as of now is not yet supporting 60 frames per second, so it's kinda useless unless you're uploading to Vimeo, then it's fine. Others, let's say 30. Now, if you have a weak PC, I'll come to that later. As of now, I'll just continue. Codec. As I said, I'll come to that later. But, to start with codecs, you can choose different kind of codecs. H.264, XVID, MPEG-1, Motion JPEG, YV12, RGB24. External codecs, click 3 dots. Even more. You can choose the one you like the most, the one you like the least, leave it being there. Channels, basically stereo, mono is not really used. Basically audio source is only one, while stereo 2. So why not use choosing stereo? Frequency, basically the frequency of your audio. I have 48 since of course that's the best it can be, at least for my sound card. But if you have higher, feel free to choose that. However, there won't be a real difference since majority of people uses headphones or speakers that are less. Codec for that, PCM MPEG-1 L2, my apologies. If you record your videos for Vegas, PCM is a solution. It's basically lossless audio. Oh my god, I said audio. Lossless codec for audios, and that's about it. Now, you also have this lovely click of a button tab called Presents, where you can choose already preset settings. It's self-explanatory. You can also create your own and edit them. Now, if you have a weak PC and you want to record HD, there's one thing, actually more than one thing you should pay in mind, but let's say one. Size. Of course, size affects your video greatly. The best thing to do is put the size the same as your video respected resolution rate. In my example, that's Full HD, but since my upload is slow, I usually record games at HD and then simply upload them like that. Then you have frames. As I said, YouTube is not supporting more than 30, so leave that at 30. Now codec. Many people say Shadowplay is the best, Shadowplay is the greatest. However, what you don't know is Bandicam is essentially the same thing as Shadowplay. No, it's not, Navis. You're an idiot. I'm not. Why is that so? Shadowplay records using H.264 codec at 50 megabytes per second bit rate. What the hell did you just say? Basically, the audio quality is 50 megabytes per second. What the heck is that? Feel free to check Google. However, if you don't like to have it in bitrate, you can click on 3 dots and create VBR, which will open this quality. And the quality is basically, the previous one is always 50,000, but bitrate quality is changing depending on the lighting, on the movement, basically how much the game demands to have it. So you put as much the game demands to have it. If you don't want to have it all the time at, let's say, 50 megabytes per second, you won't have it. And here you can put that. However, I want to have it all the time the same quality, so I put it like that to 50. But if you want, you can put it to 100, which is huge, even more than Shadowplay supports. Then you click 3 dots again if you're using H.264 codec. And if you're using basically this is only for users who use like Sony Vegas or After Effects, basically the programs that you edit your videos with. This should be set to x264 and keyframe interval to 1. Basically keyframe interval, on what frames is the interval created. And I don't know why, but Vegas prefers it to have it like that. 4cc code is basically the translucent codec used for importing, exporting videos, and again, they're basically one and the same thing, but no, Vegas wants this one, so you choose that one. Now, this codec is for GPUs. Basically, when you record something, it's using your GPU power. Basically, your GPU is recording the gameplay or the footage in my example. If your GPU is not that strong, you have tons of other options. My personal is lag codec, which is basically long name Lego to lossless codec, which is basically a raw file recording codec. Basically, whatever you sorry for saying basically so much. When you record, the difference is 0. It's the purest file you can ever get. And if you click on 3 dots in configure, you'll get this tab where you should select multi-threading, which basically uses more cores, if you have of course more cores, which you probably do, and mode to this one, since again Vegas has problems with the other one. So okay and okay. Now if you have weak PC, navies, what should I do? First of all, size should be the same as your respected resolution, or just put it to HD or Full HD. Don't put like in between, because there's no really difference, to be completely honest, since YouTube is just going to downgrade it. Put it to HD. If you have low-end PC, there's no really choice. Then here you put to Motion JPEG or H.264. Since you're using low-end PC, you probably don't have the greatest CPU or GPU, but still one will be stronger. The one that's stronger, choose that one. If that's GPU, select this one. And bitrate, let's put it around 10,000. Click OK. Stereo 48,000 PCM and OK. And when you record, you'll see the quality will be great. Then you post render and everything will be excellent. If the stronger side of your PC is Motion JPEG, my apologies, CPU, choose Motion JPEG. Quality 50, click OK, repeat the process. Now what does that do? Basically, it records, as I said already that, maybe if you've forgotten, at variable rates. Where it's necessary, it will put more. Where it's not, it will put less. And with quality 50, it will be around 40 to 60,000, but it will change. So it doesn't really affect your PC that much. However, if you have like really low end PC, just select 10 or 20 and you'll be fine. You can do the same for this one. As I said, click dots, VBR, and voila, you can choose the quality. It's really fantastic. Now audio, I wouldn't mess with that, since if you're using Vegas or anything else, basically, since the audio doesn't really affect the video that much, not in size, not in recording performance, so just leave stereo. The highest it can be, the better. Alright, we're done with this tab. Click cancel. Image. Basically, as it says, it's image, but you can just adjust a few more settings. For example, hotkey, the key with which you take the screen cap, basically the same thing as print screen, it's just more customizable. Repeat screen capture, like if you create a stop motion, like every 1 second a screen will be taken. Show mouse cursor, the same thing you saw before, but this time it's activated only when you take a screenshot. Enable shutter sound, you'll hear like a and that means the screen was taken. And if you're in game and you don't have this enabled, the frame counter will turn yellow for a brief second, so you know it's taken. Oh my god, you've taken the screen. My apologies for my poor English grammar skills. Format, self-explanatory, BMP, PNG, JPEG, normal, JPEG, high quality. Of course you want high quality, but if you want PNG, select PNG. Not really the difference. Output. Basically this is a new feature they added where you can have like, you already chosen where you want your files to be in, but here you can choose basically videos, you can play them, edit them, delete them. It's just, let's say, a shortcut. And about, here you can update your Bandicam version, you can register it, you can buy a license. And with this, I pretty much end my Bandicam tutorial, complete tutorial. I know it's long, it's freaking 20 minutes, but here I explained everything I possibly could. Briefly explanatory and English tutorial, fabulosian. Made no sense, I know. But anyway, thank you for watching. My name is Navis, and see you in the next video. Bye! Alright, then we have the next tab that you currently can't see, but I'll add it on the window, which is FPS. Basically here you have the options of selecting FPS overlay, hotkey, and the key to show FPS. Makes sense. Hotkey basically selects the key with which you can adjust the location and whether or not that will be shown. You can also click on one of these screens. Then you have FPS limit. Hotkey set FPS limit to. Basically hotkey is the key with which you select the limit, and select set FPS limit to is basically you set the amount at which the game will be performing. That occurs with some games where VSync is a problem, so maybe you need to have that enabled. You select 60 or 30 frames, you record the game 30 frames, and then you also enable only when capturing, which means it will only be enabled when you're actually recording. That's about it.